The theme of ABBC 2025 is on how to tackle misinformation and disinformation in science, and it is going under the title, The War on Science. How can we overcome the burden of misinformation and disinformation? It is indeed a real burden because we have seen science is under attack. Any scientific innovation, especially in the biosciences, is receiving a lot of backlash because everybody now wants to say something about what that innovation can do, whether it is in the area of crop improvement, in the area of animal improvement, like in vaccines, human health, public health, environmental conservation. We are seeing a lot of backlash when it comes to introducing new innovations into the public. And unfortunately, our communities are also suffering from these challenges of disinformation because it has gone really down to the grassroots.
The war on science is not imaginary. Actually, the war on science is very real. The war on science is very real. We've seen why it's real because the amount of disinformation, the amount of misinformation against the science is huge.
There is a war on science, mostly due to disinformation and misinformation. To serve interests of certain groups. We came to understand that there is a lot of fallacies, say, in GMOs, because I came to understand that they're not that bad at all. So I believe there is serious disinformation, and this conference has really debunked all those kind of fallacies that preventing people from really having a more sustainable future, especially in food security.
The war is ongoing, and it's up to the scientists around the globe to, again, work with people who specialize in science communication so we can translate the things we do into language which is understandable by members of the general public, and garnering support, which in turn I hope that members of the general public can influence greater investment in things like agricultural research so that we can reduce hunger and malnutrition across the globe.
Misinformation and disinformation are being fueled by many, many factors. I will talk about three. One is that victim mentality, where Africans have tended to think that they are victims of scientific innovations. Yet, if you look deep into the early civilization, Africans have always contributed to the scientific discoveries. And so we need that getting out of that victim mentality where people feel that any scientific innovation is being perpetuated or being developed to either take over or replace systems that have been tested over a long period of time is one of the challenges that we have to overcome with this information. Number two is the proliferation of digital age. A lot of platforms now, very, very fast, efficient, that are passing information. Unfortunately, some of that now with the scientific innovations is either inaccurate or not true. And this is compounded by the near absence of scientists who are also in taking up new digital platforms for communication so that they can also correct that misinformation and disinformation at the onset. Because once you allow it to get to millions of people, then it becomes the truth because it's repeated and over-repeated. The third component is really about how we are training our researchers and scientists. In the absence of a deliberate science communication program, it is also becoming difficult because scientists are starting to do their research without a clear communication plan in mind. When stakeholders or end users are not consulted or involved at the beginning, but at the end, then there's always that suspicion that you could be concocting things that are not relevant to us.
If we're going to win this war on science, the scientists need to step up and take a larger role in the conversation and the dialogue. And for me as a researcher, I wasn't trained in science communication, so that's why we need to partner with science communicators who can help us understand the ways to share with the public why are we doing the things that we are doing. Sometimes people think that all scientists are these evil, mad scientists that were cooking up these magic potions that are going to do bad things. But in fact, I've yet to meet an agricultural researcher who isn't passionate about finding ways to be more efficient in producing food at a lower cost in an environmentally sustainable manner. And as we think about our 3 pillars of sustainability, for a long time we focused on environmental sustainability. And of course, from a business perspective, there has to be the economic sustainability. But in recent years, we've also recognized the importance of social sustainability. As researchers, as scientists, we have to be working with technologies that are going to be socially accepted.
The best way to win this war on science is to counter it with a correct fact, by sharing information correctly, by sensitizing the end users of all the products and services.
Africa needs to increase its budget allocation to science. 2, we need to mainstream science. The media has got a very big role.
Winning the war on science, it has to be won. One is we need to break the silos and work together. ABBC has already shown that we need to work together, different sectors, crops, livestock, health, public health, environment. No one sector is spared from misinformation and disinformation. And so coming up with a combined or a platform that can ensure we are all coming together to develop messages that resonate with the cultural values of our end users of these innovations is going to be very, very key. Number 2 is leveraging on digital tools and artificial intelligence. Again, this is an area where a lot of misinformation and disinformation is thriving, and we need, as the scientific community and other communicators, to invest in training and equipping our communicators with those tools and building their trust, building their confidence so that they also be part of the influencers when it comes to tackling misinformation and disinformation in that space, in the digital space. Number 3 is coming up with programs that train on fact-checking and misinformation sensing. I think by far, the ABBC has already shown that if you don't have a system where rumors and propaganda are curbed or nabbed at the first instance, then you allow that to happen, then it becomes very difficult to get it out of the population. So being ahead of the misinformation curve, training people, getting them to know how to differentiate between a truth, a half-truth, and a lie is very, very key. And in ISA Afri Center, we have already started doing that. We are training our scientists and our policymakers and decision makers on how to sense misinformation in issues that relate to scientific innovations. We have a platform, the Africa Science Dialogue platform. Is a multi-stakeholder, multidisciplinary platform allowing scientists and researchers and even those that have a passion for science to come and share their experiences, share learning so that we can all cross-pollinate each of these strategies to come up with the best practices that will help in curbing misinformation, disinformation, and indeed the war on science.